Okay, we are just about a couple hours after the finish of the Daytona 500 for 2022. Austin Cindric, rookie driver for the NASCAR Cup Series, gets it done. And the beat goes on as we welcome in Eric Smith live from Daytona International Speedway. Eric, where you get these surprise Daytona 500 winners.
Yeah, it's what happens. I mean, this is only the ninth in the history of the 64-year history of this race that we had a first-time winner. Coincidentally enough, for the last 6 years out of those nine. Last year was Michael McDowell's first win in like 363 starts. This was only Austin Cindric's seventh. He raced in this race last year, so we count him as a rookie, but he was in it last year. He was in that big wreck at the last lap last year. But good play by Penske after last year's race. If you remember right, Keselowski and Logano wrecked going for the win. They weren't going to let it happen this time. Hearing Roger Penske talk in the media center a few minutes ago, and was kind of discussing that, how they had a plan in place and it wasn't going to happen again. And sure enough, they had could have been a 1-2 if not for a wreck there by Blaney at the end.
Yeah, look, that's the only thing that is a downer for fans is when you have the team concept, and then in this type of a situation. And even though Blaney did do what he was supposed to do, which is I'm going to give it a shot to go around my teammate, and okay, it didn't work out. But it's one of those things where I don't know. I mean, I don't know if these guys aren't kind of working together, whether or not there's a little bit more aggressiveness.
Yeah, and I agree, because they said the plan was Cindric to go up high, Blaney to restart the low lane. Blaney, if you notice, got a slow start. I'm like, man, did he spin his tires? What happened? And then he saw Cindric drop right in front of him. And okay, that was their plan. There was no way you were going to beat Penske at that point unless it was around the high side, and you're going to have to get a lot of drafting help. But with drafting help for Cindric, with Blaney behind him pushing him, and Cindric never coming off that low, almost called yellow line around here, he wasn't going to lose. And I was like, well, maybe Blaney's going to make a move, but Cindric wasn't moving. Blaney wasn't, and he mentioned he wasn't going to make a move to potentially cost them both the race. And Cindric did a great job holding his line. Keselowski just didn't have enough push from up high. Briscoe, he was trying to drag his brake. Briscoe was trying to catch him, but he didn't have enough drafting help behind. Bubba Wallace was pushing Blaney, who was then pushing Cindric, and there's just nothing you can do about it. The energy was the low line, and he won, and Blaney never made a move to go for the win. I do think if Blaney wasn't his teammate, and that was somebody else in that spot, we probably would have had a better finish. But they earned the rights for teammates to be there, and we got a first-time winner, and he's in the playoffs now. And Blaney had a heck of a run, again, close, but didn't do it. And Bubba Wallace, the second runner-up finish here in the last 5 years, the Daytona 500.
Yeah, and of course we had also a lot of top drivers that went out, which is usually the case, which is how you get these surprise winners. And that's unfortunate. And we had wrecks, but we didn't have like a 15-car pile-up or anything like that where you took out 10 great drivers early in the race. So I think in general, we had a pretty normal race when it comes to some of the incidents. It's just that a lot of top drivers wound up getting knocked out, which seems to happen a lot here.
It does. At least it wasn't early. I mean, we had that one on lap, 62. Harrison Burton going airborne. Byron was in it. Hamlin was in it. But, I mean, it didn't take out half the field. We still had a lot of guys running. Saw some wrecks in the final stage, but I thought it was overall a good race. I thought the next gen did its job. I do want to think they need to look at Harrison Burton's car. I mean, they're 10 miles an hour slower when he got airborne. Was it aerodynamics that caused that? We'll find out probably later, sometime this next week. But other than that, I thought it was a good debut for the car. And then the tires falling off. It seems like the Penske guys were saying that was expected. That's why they altered their tires. It wasn't anything to gain advantage that NASCAR confiscated yesterday. But other than that, for next gen, first race, I thought it was pretty clean, pretty good. Nobody's hurt. We're walking out of here with a Penske winner. So nothing bad I can say about this race today.
And look, Ford, we talked about this the other day. It was obvious that they were going to be the teams to beat, and that's exactly what happened. Was there anything else that was surprising, though? Because, again, for the most part, things seemed to go by script. Look, we had a new car. How did that come into play? Because it didn't look like, you didn't get the feeling there was a new car. Nothing really
No.
happened differently.
Which is
Yeah.
good. I think that's what you want when you get a new car. I do think you didn't see the high line be the preferred line around here anymore. They try to get up high. The Fords try to get there early. I think it was a lot of the energy. How many cars can you build in a line? And if you built the most cars, the low line was the preferred line. I think you saw that in the end. In the past, I think you would have maybe seen Cindric inside, Blaney outside, and he would have slid up there. Remember last year, they would do the conga line around the top. That didn't happen this year. So I think that changed. But other than that, pretty much from our preview show, right behind me in the infield the other day or yesterday, it hit right on the money. If Blaney would have won, we would have hit it right on the money because all the Hendrick cars struggled. The Gibbs cars, they were looked strong, but I don't think they had enough numbers after that wreck that knocked out two of their cars. If you didn't have the first-time winner and Blaney hit, who was one of my guys, I said Blaney and Elliott were your top two, that probably would have hit. So our Trends article or preview show yesterday actually came into play. It pretty much worked. Ford, like we said, was probably going to be the dominant team, and boy, were they ever today. So I would say it's not surprising. Cindric is probably the most surprising because he's a first-time winner, but I think those of us know the sport. Like, he's a Penske guy. I mean,
I mean, after what happened last year with McDowell winning, this is a good winner. So, yeah,
exactly.
He's a fantastic young driver, and he's going to have a great career ahead of him. And this is also going to be interesting to see how this will now potentially impact his season. We know he's in the playoffs, but how about the confidence now and the team? I mean, this is Brad Keselowski's ride, basically, and all of a sudden now they're all in the playoffs already, so they get the entire season to work on getting better, and the confidence has got to be a real boost. So that much different from McDowell winning last year, which we knew was just going to be a one-off.
And how ironic is it that Keselowski there in the outside lane leading was 0 for, I believe, 11 or 12 in that car. He's never won the Daytona 500. And here, Austin Cindric, first chance in that car, wins the Daytona 500. And the other ironic thing, I'm looking at the scoreboard behind me here, you have a young rookie guy, Cindric, winning. Bubba Wallace, I believe, is like 27, 28. He was second. Chase Briscoe's like probably 27, 28, second-year driver. Third. Ryan Blaney, what is he, 28? 20? I mean, a lot of 28, 27-year-olds. He's fourth. Then you have Almirola, Kyle Busch, McDowell, David Reagan in eighth. I mean, your top four guys are all under the age of 30. You got Kyle Larson as your champion last year. So the youth movement's here. I think this shows, and like you said, who knows what can become a Cindric. He's got 25 other races now in the regular season to get used to this car, knowing he's already in the playoffs. So we'll see how the season goes.
Do you have a story yet for racereviewonline.net, like a top story?
It's done. I'm waiting on quotes. We haven't got the quotes done yet, the press conferences.
Any good quotes so far?
I got one about, not really, nothing other than expected. Yeah. I got one about how Cindric won, how Chase Briscoe, I got that because I talked to him last year some. So I used some quotes from that and from today about how he went from sleeping on couches to get in his racing career to finishing third in the Daytona 500. I got one of Cindric, how 2020, a pandemic, Roger Penske bought the Indianapolis Motor Speedway before the pandemic. They were going to shut the Xfinity program down during the pandemic. They try to find everywhere they can to get them back out of the pandemic. They did. Cindric wins the championship. Now he's in the 2-car. So I got a couple of those stories coming out. Just waiting for some quotes and finishing touches, and they'll be out tonight.
Okay, and what about the crowd? How was the atmosphere, especially with some of the incidents on the track?
It was great. The crowd was great, sold out, every bit sold out. I did not see many open seats. The infield was just hopping this morning. I met Michael Jordan, Dwight Freeney. I'll play for my Colts. Saw him down there. I didn't get to see him personally. I heard he was here. Floyd Mayweather was down there. It was buzzing. It was a buzz. It felt like a big event. So definitely great for the sport today. There was nothing to go wrong.
I'm surprised I didn't notice their post race coverage. I know you're not you can't flip on the channels, but I didn't even know. I was like, FS1, FS2 didn't have anything. Huh. And the 500 coverage ended, and the next was something else on Fox. I was surprised. There must be some other post-race coverage somewhere.
They must have been delayed on it. Yeah, usually to go to FS1. So I don't know. Maybe there's a basketball game.
There are. Yeah, that's it. There's basketball games. Yeah.
That could be it.
But that's surprising. It's a Daytona 500.
It is. Yeah, so it just ended and hey, he won. Bye. Yeah, that's weird. They should have been
for such a big race. But
yeah.
but overall, though, and Tony Stewart was in the booth. I know we didn't have a lot of time to talk
Yep.
about that. We'll talk about that when we preview the what do we got? Fontana coming up, right?
Fontana next.
So we'll talk about that on our next show coming up, whatever it's going to be, Thursday or Friday, whenever we do that. And other than that, what's next? You're going to head back to the media room, and Cindric hasn't even talked yet, right?
No, he was going to come in pretty soon. I'm shocked he hasn't been in yet. So we'll get Cindric his quotes. Luckily, NASCAR tabulates all these quotes, emails them to you, so you don't have to transcribe everything. So I get all that up. Still need to hear from the second and third place drivers. Don't know why we haven't done that yet. And then you get the finish writing and then get out of here finally. So a little bit longer of a night, but definitely got some more stuff to do.
And really no controversy except for the fact that Brad Keselowski happened to be pushing two of the cars that ended up in wrecks. And we talked about that, I think, last year, too, I believe, because Keselowski was always the one that kept bitching about getting
people blocking, pushing. And here he did.
It happened last year, and it's happened again this year.
He was too aggressive, and I wish he would have came maybe to the media center, because my question to him would have been, because of this race, knowing the ultimate wild card compared to like a Fontana or Phoenix or Vegas, was he pushing harder this year because of the team he's with, knowing that there's not many other options compared to if he was in a Penske car? So that'd be one of my questions I would have had for him. Because he wrecked and he had to go to the care center and he didn't come through the media center to talk to. But I was wondering and I'm sure me asking, it probably was. I mean, he was up front running good. He probably was pressing a little bit. And I mean, he took responsibility on his radio for it. I was listening to a scanner, and he definitely took responsibility for the pushing.
By the way, CJ, who won last year, he swept everything last year, is already off to a good start this year because he actually had Cindric as one of his picks, one of his long shot picks.
Yep.
And I believe, does he have Cindric on the fantasy team?
I thought so. I thought he picked
Let
him.
me see.
Would it be shocking?
Yeah, I think he does. I think he has Cindric. So, and yes, he has Cindric. So he's already off to a good start.
Right off to a start.
Defending his championship.
Maybe a first repeat. Yeah, repeat.
All right, Eric. Great job as always. We'll talk to you again later in the week, and we'll check out everything, of course, at racereviewonline.net, and then we'll have a lot more time to talk about the race, including the race upcoming in Fontana in a few days.
Yep, definitely. Absolutely. Thanks
Take
for having me.
Thank you.
All right, see ya.